Lots of new WrestleMania matches were just confirmed, so we'll take a look at some of the major ones. We'll also take a look at a new major use of foreshadowing from The Rock, Roman Reigns, and more, starting things off with some big new matches confirmed for WrestleMania 40, because the March 15th edition of SmackDown was loaded up with confirmations. LA Knight challenged AJ Styles to a WrestleMania match, which AJ accepted a few moments later when he attacked LA Knight from behind. LA Knight and AJ's history with each other does date back to last fall, after AJ Styles had issues with the Bloodline and was ready to partner up with John Cena to take them down. AJ was brutally attacked and written off of television, which saw LA Knight step up and take AJ's spot to team up with Cena instead. That whole act of stepping into that spot never really sat well with AJ Styles, and he had an issue with LA Knight ever since. And that'll now lead towards their big WrestleMania match. The other confirmation was for the United States title match at WrestleMania. A lot of fans are speculating that it'll be Logan Paul versus Randy Orton for the title, and they were pretty close. But it'll actually be a triple threat match at WrestleMania between Logan Paul, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens. All three of them have had several run-ins with each other in recent weeks, and they're all trying to capture that US title now. And the biggest confirmation of them all is, of course, Jimmy Uso versus Jey Uso. This match really isn't that big of a shocker, since it was basically confirmed to take place at WrestleMania 40 ever since SummerSlam 2023. So it's not a surprise, but it still feels nice to get that official confirmation for that brotherly WrestleMania bout. Jey Uso laid out the challenge on Raw, and in a backstage segment, Jimmy Uso accepted Jey's challenge and said that he was always the big brother to Jey Uso before anything in the Bloodline kicked off, and how he'll be ready to put Jey back in his place at WrestleMania. Jey Uso even opened up about his feud in a recent interview, saying that this is the most excited he's ever been for any feud in his entire career. He said what he's most excited for is the promos between Jimmy and himself. Jey told fans that everything they're going to say and talk about with each other is all real life things. Jey even teased that he's going to bring out a whole new side of him during this feud that no one has ever seen from him. Jey said that if you thought he was emotional and great during his time with the Bloodline, get ready, because he's about to turn it up to a whole other level that he didn't even go throughout his entire duration in the Bloodline. So Jey is setting the expectations pretty high for this build-up and match itself. There's only a few weeks left until WrestleMania itself, and a lot of fans question how this feud will be built, and how will they have any promo time together if they're on opposite brands. Well, especially this time of the year, brand split rules are very lightly enforced, so they can easily write a moment of Jey invading SmackDown or Jimmy invading Raw, and that'll be how they'll get some of that time together in the ring to build this story up. A majority of the Bloodline members now have a match they're focused on for WrestleMania. The Rock and Roman Reigns are focused on Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, while Jimmy Uso is now focused on Jey Uso. It seems like Solo Sikoa will be without a WrestleMania match once again this year, but that doesn't mean he won't have a role in the event. Between the tag team match, the Usos match, and the Night 2 main event, we should expect to see Solo Sikoa get involved in a few of those matches, or quite frankly, all of those matches. So he'll still have a major event at WrestleMania, even if it's not an official match. Speaking of the Bloodline, The Rock brought back his Rock concert for the March 15th edition of SmackDown. The Rock had fun making fun of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins with his song. The Rock made fun of Cody Rhodes for his past as Stardust. He even poked fun at Seth Rollins by saying Becky Lynch was more popular than he is. The Rock also took time to give a warning to Cody Rhodes' mother, telling her that Cody Rhodes won't be handling her the undisputed Universal title at WrestleMania, but instead it'll be The Rock handing her a belt of his own after The Rock beats Cody with it. And that was all great ways to keep the story progressing, but the more important thing to take notice of is the potential foreshadowing and hinting behind The Rock's new nickname of The Final Boss. If you pay close attention during The Rock's concert segment, you can definitely hear this nickname getting mentioned several times. It wasn't just a one-time mention of a new nickname. That name was heavily featured time and time again in this segment. The commentators referred to The Rock as the final boss a couple hundred times, and even The Rock himself used that nickname several times during his promo as well. They really want to hammer that new nickname into your head. The Rock even closed out a segment by saying, "If you smell what the final boss is cooking," rather than saying what The Rock is cooking like he usually does. So they're really throwing the final boss nickname in our faces and want you to be extremely aware of it, but why? Well, the final boss nickname itself appears to be foreshadowing for The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That nickname doesn't really make any sense in the context of facing Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, but if The Rock was to use the final boss nickname against Roman Reigns, well then obviously that makes more sense in that context. Roman has been champion for 4 years and has beaten literally everyone, from top WWE superstars to legends to stars that aren't even with the promotion anymore. So the idea of The Rock being the final boss and the final big challenge to Roman's title reign makes a lot more sense in that regard. We also can't forget the report and comments from The Rock himself when he revealed that the initial reason why Roman even started calling himself the head of the table and tribal chief in the first place was in order to build up the story foundation for The Rock to get involved and face him. So a face-off between The Rock and Roman Reigns is what's been allegedly planned since the story first started back in 2020. So taking that into consideration and how The Rock and WWE are heavily throwing the final boss nickname in our faces, fans are wondering if the nickname could be one of the first big signs that The Rock will eventually turn on Roman Reigns at some point within the story in order to be Roman's final boss. So definitely don't fall asleep on those hints, because there definitely has to be a bigger reason to why they use that nickname for The Rock a couple hundred times within the concert segment, obviously for a bigger reason down the road. So there's a lot of things to look out for now from The Rock. We'll have to see what comes next for this final boss nickname and what that leads to. It'll also be interesting to keep an eye on The Rock next time he poses with the Bloodline, because every time he posed with them up until this point, he always throws up the wrong hand gesture. Fans want to see if The Rock will continue to mess up that hand gesture and if that's all on purpose. So that'll be something to keep an eye on. But it definitely seems like WWE is already heavily hinting at The Rock versus Roman Reigns still being a part of future plans. And it's possible that we get a big moment within the next few weeks or at WrestleMania itself. That will make those plans even more clearer. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.